What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Unpopular Opinion, and today, guys, I'm going to be counting down my top 5 favorite movie villains. So, before we get into the list, I do want to say there are some qualifiers. Guys, I'm not going to be including anyone who is not a fictional character. Only fictional characters will make it onto this list because, well, if I included real-life portrayals of actual historical figures from biopics or historical movies, well, then the list would be dominated by people who've played Hitler or Gandhi. I'm kidding about Gandhi, but we're just doing fictional characters. So, with that in mind, let's just jump right into the video. Coming in at number 5, we have Lord Voldemort from the Harry Potter series.
You're a fool, Harry Potter, and you will lose.
Guys, Voldemort is a villain of, like, the generation, because the unique thing about Harry Potter for people of my generation is he's a character that we grew up with and we matured with. And I don't mean in the sense of, oh, we just watched the movies over and over. No, there was a new movie that came out every year. And as we grew up alongside of Harry Potter. So at the age and rate in which he matured, so too did we. Therefore, Voldemort was with us for a very long time. So that's what makes Harry Potter and the character of Voldemort very unique and special. So Lord Voldemort is the Dark Lord who is hell-bent on trying to conquer the wizarding world.
Don't you turn your back on me, Harry Potter! I want you to look at me when I kill you!
He is the villain, the opposer, the mortal enemy of Harry Potter. Whether he's on the back of Quirrell's head, or he's in the form of a memory from his diary, or he's in the living flesh, he's back. Voldemort is an extremely powerful, very dangerous, and very evil dark wizard.
Voldemort is my past, present, and future.
He's responsible for killing Harry Potter's family. He killed his parents and is basically responsible for ruining Harry's life, his upbringing with his miserable aunt and his uncle. That's because of Voldemort. And then his army of Death Eaters conquered the wizarding world. They're attacking people who they think are inferior and unworthy of practicing magic. The Muggleborns, the Mudbloods. He was portrayed expertly by Ralph Fiennes. He's very scary, he's very formidable. He's honestly just like the wizarding equivalent of Hitler. So Lord Voldemort is firmly at number 5. Number 4, we have Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men.
Will you hold still, please, sir?
Guys, Anton Chigurh is a hitman and he's the last guy you want coming after you because he's basically like a human Terminator. So in No Country for Old Men, he's hired to track down and kill a hunter because this hunter stumbled upon a drug deal gone wrong and everyone in this drug deal killed each other and he just took their money. They left $2 million in a satchel. He found it, so Anton Chigurh is hired to find this guy, kill him, and recover the money.
You know how this is gonna turn out, don't you?
Nope.
What makes this dude so scary is there have been many mental health professionals who've reviewed this film. So psychiatrists, psychologists, they've rated him as the most accurate portrayal of a psychopath ever put to screen. And I'm no psychologist, but I can see that. I can totally see this guy being legit as the perfect portrayal of a psychopath.
I'm looking for Llewellyn Moss.
Let's just establish from the beginning, he's unfeeling, he's very cold, has no remorse, and he kills people without even a wince of hesitation. And he's very unique because his weapon of choice is a shotgun with a very unique suppressor. Looks really cool, looks menacing, and it also suppresses the gun so he can come in and out without even being detected. And he also has a cattle bolt stunner, those rods that kill cattle. He has one attached to an air tank, which he uses to either kill people or destroy the locks on a door to get in. And not only that, the guy has such a high pain tolerance that even if you injure him, he has the medical knowledge to patch himself up, but he also has the toughness to persevere and keep coming after you.
Take it in. You didn't see me. I was already gone.
So the fact of the matter is this guy's an unfeeling, unflinchingly rigid psychopath who, honestly, the only thing that can save you from him is if you flip of a coin. He has this thing where if he decides to leave it up to fate, he'll flip a coin, and if you call it and you guess the right face of the coin, he'll let you live. That's the only thing that can save you from him.
Call it.
Call it? Yes. For what? Just call it.
Heads, then.
Heads, then. Heads. 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 Hea Well done.
So the guy's scary. He's the ultimate hitman. He's just an unstoppable guy. He's gonna keep coming after you. So Anton Chigurh is number 4. Number 3, we have Hans Gruber from Die Hard.
The Nakatomi Corporation's legacy of greed. They are about to be taught a lesson in the real use of power.
Guys, I did a video a few years ago explaining firmly why Die Hard is a Christmas movie, but we're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about Hans Gruber.
Put down the gun and give me my detonators.
So, a little bit of class goes a long way, especially in our kind of broken society where a lot of morals have been, disregarded. But Hans Gruber, he's all class. He's like the perfect, he's kind of like a European businessman gone bad, because basically him and his armed group of men attack the Nakatomi Plaza building. He pretends like they're terrorists, but in actuality, he's just trying to steal the millions of dollars from the vault and to escape and take the money.
Well. Hans.
So this guy's totally classy. He's the professional villain, which I love so much. He's like a gentleman, like the gentleman villain that we don't have anymore. So he's got all these great speeches. The way he speaks is impeccably professional.
Still the cowboy. Mr. McClane, Americans all alike.
And his dialogues with our main hero, John McClane, over the walkie-talkie, whether they're in person with each other or on the walkie-talkie.
You hear that? Talk to me! Where are my detonators?
It's sharp. It's great dialogue. It's professional.
Shall I shoot another one? Sooner or later, I might get to someone you do care about.
He's not a corporate type business villain in the sense that he has his henchmen do everything for him. No, he's the businessman, but he's also the badass at the same time, because he actively opposes John McClane. He fights against him.
Schießt dem Fenster. Shoot the glass.
Or he's checking the explosive charges. He's on the front lines, and that's what makes him so cool. Alan Rickman did a stand-up job, and it's even more incredible because this is Alan Rickman's first performance in a movie, and he knocked it out of the park by portraying one of the greatest movie villains. It's like he's the European man in the suit, but he's also really dangerous. If he's gonna count to 3, well, it's already too late for you. So that's why Hans Gruber is firmly number 3 in the greatest movie villains of all time. Number 2, we have the T-800 from the Terminator.
Get out.
Guys, the T-800 is... I love sci-fi action, and I love how unique and original this type of villain is. So, the T-800, the Terminator, is a time-traveling assassin cyborg. He has come from a dystopian future where machines have taken over the world, and there's a human resistance struggling against the oppression of the machines. So, he's sent back in time to kill Sarah Connor before she gives birth to the leader of the resistance, and that's just what makes this movie so crazy. The fact that we have future technology, that it's a robot that's heavily armored, the plating on his metal, it's so dense that our modern weapons, they can't penetrate it. So even though if you shoot at him with a gun, it might destroy the living tissue surrounding his metal, but it's not going to do any damage. And much like established in the movie, he doesn't feel pity, he doesn't feel remorse, he can't feel pain, and you can't reason with him or bargain with him. If he's coming after you, he's coming after you, and he won't stop until the mission's complete. And the fact that he doesn't feel any pain, again, you can shoot at him, it's not gonna do anything. Or even if he's damaged, he's a robot, so he's still gonna come after you regardless. Regardless of what form he's in, whether he has his living tissue or if the tissue's starting to rot off of his face and peel and you can see his inner mechanical parts, or the damage to the point where he's still crawling. He's very scary and very formidable. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger played him perfectly. This was an expert portrayal of the Terminator. And here's the thing about the Terminator. I was really tempted to put the T-1000 liquid metal in this role at number 2, but I just don't think you could beat the original, how scary he is, how formidable he is, how deadly and dangerous he is, and he's like really unstoppable. The new Terminator movies are really bad, but the best thing about the first Terminator movie, and even the second Terminator movie, it just shows you how hard it is to kill one of these things. Perfect example would be Sarah Connor's hiding in the police station. You'd think that's like the safest place for anyone to hide if you're being chased. He comes in and just walks through the station, breezing past all the cops. And no one is safe when the Terminator comes after you. So, guys, the Terminator is firmly at number 2.
You can't do that.
Guys, before we get into our number 1, I do have an honorable mention because unfortunately 5 is not enough entries to chronicle all of the great movie villains, so I do have one honorable mention, and that is the HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey. What's remarkable about this is he's a computer system, AI, that not only is he really creepy, but it's amazing that people back in the 60s were able to foreshadow and predict things like Alexa or Siri. And not only is it really creepy, but it's also a cautionary tale of what artificial intelligence is, what it could be, what it could become, and what happens if it goes wrong. So I think it's worth noting the HAL 9000 is a great movie villain. So remember that the next time you ask Siri to set an alarm for you.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Guys, number 1 greatest movie villain is, drumroll please, Dr. Hannibal Lecter from The Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, Agent Starling, you think you can dissect me with this blunt little tool?
Guys, Hannibal Lecter is one of my favorite movie characters, but I firmly believe that he is the greatest villain in movie history for a number of reasons. Well, first of all, he's a cannibalistic serial killer who is a trained psychiatrist, so not only does he have medical anatomical knowledge, but he also has an understanding of how the human mind and the human brain works. Therefore, when he was captured and he's put into a mental institution, you can't quantify him because he knows how these tests work and he's smart enough to outsmart these examiners. Therefore, he's an enigma. So not only is he one of the smartest movie villains, but he's also probably the scariest. And the thing is, people throughout the movie, they say like, oh, he's a psychopath, he's a psychopath. When in actuality, that's just because there's nothing else to call him. We don't know what he is. Like I said, because he's smart enough to know when he's being analyzed, he's able to fake these tests or to fake psychological tests. We don't really know much about him in the sense of where his psyche is. All we know is he's definitely not a psychopath. He's just an evil individual.
But we don't reckon time the same way, do we, Clarice? This is all the time you'll ever have.
And he uses his powers of his mind, which are very sharp and very keen, to do evil things. So even though he's not the main villain in Silence of the Lambs, he's definitely a really scary antagonist and a force to be reckoned with because he's able to penetrate your mind. He's able to accurately size you up and analyze you from the moment he sees you.
That expires in 1 week. You're not real FBI, are you?
He's really sharp with his wit. His senses are on point. He's got really good vision. He's really strong. He'll just break you down. Some of his villainy includes him convincing another inmate to kill himself just by talking to him. Or he deliberately tortures and antagonizes the senator just to feed off of her anguish because he thrives off of that.
Let me help you now, and I will trust you when it is all over.
Instead of outright helping people on the case, he's just toying with them, and he's such a formidable guy. And then the escape, oh my gosh. When he escaped from custody and what he did to those correction officers, guys, Hannibal Lecter is an all-time villain. I think he is the greatest movie villain of all time. Anthony Hopkins portrayed him brilliantly, got an Oscar for it. You know, it just occurred to me, British people tend to play the best villains. Let's just look at this list. The majority of people on this list were played by British actors. Voldemort was played by a British actor. Actually, Voldemort was played by several British actors. Hans Gruber, Alan Rickman's British, and Anthony Hopkins, he's from Wales. In fact, actually, it just occurred to me, every single villain on this list is played by a European guy, because Javier Bardem's from Spain. Arnold Schwarzenegger is from Austria, so I guess Europeans are the best villains. Wow, okay. I didn't mean to go there, but they're good. They're good. But yeah, I firmly believe Hannibal Lecter is the greatest villain because there's nothing more intriguing, more fascinating, and more mesmerizing than a cannibalistic serial killer who happens to know how the human mind works and he can use that against you. And we're no sooner able to discover what is actually within his mind than we are traveling to another planet.
Brave Clarice, you will let me know when those lambs stop screaming, won't you?
And in the end, you gotta take extra special care with him because the moment you turn your back on him, whew, he strikes. That's how you know a villain's great. He's contained in a cage the whole movie, and even behind bars, even behind the mask and a straitjacket, he's still the most dangerous person in the room because it's not his physical body that is also dangerous, it's his mind. That's why I love Hannibal Lecter.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner.
Well, guys, that's all I have for you. Those are my top 5 greatest movie villains of all time. What did you guys think? Who's your favorite movie villain? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you agree, disagree? Well, comment below to let me know. If you think I missed a villain, if you wanted to see someone who wasn't on the list, comment below to let me know. I might even do a part 2, or I might even do a companion to this by saying who are the greatest movie heroes. Who knows? That's what the comment section's for. So comment all of your concerns, comments, or criticisms below, and I probably won't respond to you, but if I do, good. I don't know. We're just winging it here. Also, guys, be sure to like this video. Remember, 1 like can go a long way and really help me out. Costs you nothing to do so. It's totally free, and I very much appreciate the support. Also, subscribe to the channel. Check me out on Instagram. That will be linked in the description below, and I'll see you on the next Unpopular Opinion.